everyone, my name is Aparna Bhatia, and this week's tech tip is about how to not frame specific openings. All right, so here I have a multi-layer panel, and I have a shading for this, and I have the structural layer for this as well. So over here we have a few openings. So if I click on this duct over here, it says it is 5 inches in size, and if we have a half-inch clearance around it, it comes up to like 6 inches. And over here we have this little opening here. Um, I'll just say over here, it's a 3-inch diameter pipe, again with a half-inch on either side. It will probably be around 4 inches a hole size. And then here we have a 8-inch pipe with again half-inch tolerances. It's going to be around 9 inches. Basically, what I want to do is set up a rule that if anything is under um, 7 inches or 6 inches and lower, we don't want to frame it. So if we want to apply it, we want to apply a marker to the openings. So after we run clash detection, we can apply a marker to the openings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the openings over here. For these two, I do not want them to frame with any framing because they're so small. I don't want to create any framing for them. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to go select those openings and then go to markers and apply opening type. And we're going to choose the one, I've created one that says would default do not frame. And basically the way you create it is you duplicate the default non-bearing. And over here we have an option called ignore. So if you check that on, it's not going to frame that opening at all. Okay. So for those two, we want that marker applied. And over here, for this one, I still want to frame this one. So what I'm going to do is for this, I'm going to apply an opening type marker. And instead of do not frame, I'm going to actually apply the ignore openings between studs. So if this opening lands in between studs, I'll show you how this marker is created. Over here it says do not frame between studs. So if this opening is landing in between studs, I don't want it to be framed, but if it is actually landing in the path of a typical stud or an infill stud, then it will automatically frame it. Okay, so that's the marker I want to use for that. And I'm just going to go ahead and check that on. Now we set up our markers so that our framing knows what to do. How do we tell our sheathing to not cut around those areas, right? So what we're going to do is over here, we're going to go to settings, our house settings. And once we go there, we'll click on our sheathing templates. And over here, we're going to click on LT plot. For me, I have a plywood template created. I'm going to go ahead and modify this. And when I modify this, over here, I have all my basic settings set up. I can even choose if I want to have a gap in between my panels and so on and so forth. But what I care about right now is the opening settings, okay? So you have the option of ignoring all openings. So it will frame everything just as is, and they will cut it on site. If that's what you like, you can go ahead and do that. I also have the option to break the sheathing at every single opening. So at this opening, it'll create one sheet here, it'll break that one, and it'll create another one here. And this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 sheets just to create this opening here, right? If I uncheck break sheathing at opening bounds, it will actually just cut out this little portion and continue the sheathing all across. So those are okay. So those are a few options you have there. You also have the option to have your sheathing go into the opening or away from the opening, so you can put in those values there. But here we have an option called ignore openings with the width below a specific amount. Okay, so if I want to ignore openings with a width below a specific amount, over here I've written 6 inches. I'm just going to make it 7 inches for a door, for a window, and over here for a opening. So typically when you clash detect, it's creating an opening, not a window or a door. So you should, this is basically the one that counts the most. So right now it's going to ignore openings that have a width less than 7 inches. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do this, and we're just going to go ahead and hit OK here and hit OK. And now when I click on this wall and I go ahead into my operations and quick create, my sheathing and my framing know exactly what to do because A, I applied the markers, and B, I set up rules for my sheathing. So if I just go ahead and hide my, oops, I'll just go and do that here. So I'll just hide these MEP elements for a second, just so you can see that over here, where there's an opening, the sheathing didn't cut, and over here, since that opening is less than 7 inches, it didn't cut that one, but over here, it cut this one. And for this opening also, since it's in between studs, it didn't frame it. But if I was to move this opening over just a little bit, so I'm going to click on that and move it over just a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and regenerate this panel. And once I regenerate this panel, you will see that it will actually frame that opening because now it interferes with the infill stud. Okay, that's it for this week's tech tip. Have a great day.